The crystalline spires of Zephyr Station gleamed against the void, their surfaces reflecting the light of 3 distant suns. Within its halls, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session, their varied forms casting strange shadows across the polished floors. The air thrummed with tension as species from across the galaxy gathered to address the crisis that had shaken their very foundations. Elder Kethavar, his ancient exoskeleton scarred by millennia of existence, stood before the assembly. His compound eyes swept across the crowd of delegates, the ethereal Lumari with their shifting energy forms, the proud Vorthan warriors with their scaled hides, and dozens of other species that had ruled the galaxy for eons. They called us fools. Kethavar's voice resonated through the chamber's translation matrices. When we warned of the newcomers, when we spoke of the danger they posed, you dismissed our concerns as the paranoid ramblings of a dying race. Commander Zix of the Vorthan Empire shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Just 3 cycles ago he had laughed at such warnings. Humans, the newest species to achieve faster-than-light travel, seemed insignificant compared to the might of established galactic powers. They were small, fragile, short-lived creatures from a backwater planet called Earth. The humans have taken 17 systems in the past lunar cycle, Kethavar continued. Not through conquest, not through force, but through something far more insidious. They make friends. A ripple of confusion passed through the assembly. The Lumari delegate, her form flickering with agitation, spoke up. Surely you exaggerate, Elder. Friendship cannot topple empires. Kethavar's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. Can it not? Let me tell you of Alexander Chen and Nora Martinez, 2 humans who single-handedly dismantled our most secure alliance. The chamber fell silent as Kethavar activated a holographic display. It showed 2 unremarkable humans standing on the steps of the Terran embassy on Kepler Prime, the Zephyrian homeworld. Alexander was their diplomat, Kethavar explained. Nora was their military attaché. When they arrived, we expected typical newcomer behavior. Demands for territory, threats, the usual posturing. Instead, Alexander asked about our history, our culture, our art. The image shifted to show Alexander sitting in a traditional Zephyrian meditation garden, listening intently as an elderly Zephyrian shared stories of their ancestors. His genuine interest was evident in his posture, his expressions, the way he asked thoughtful questions. He spent months learning our ways, Kethavar continued. Not to exploit them, but to understand them. When the drought came to our agricultural sector, it was Alexander who suggested a solution. Not advanced human technology, but an ancient Zephyrian technique his research had uncovered. A method our own people had forgotten. Commander Zix leaned forward.
And the female.
Nora was equally dangerous in her own way. When pirates attacked our outer colonies, she didn't wait for official permission. She took a single human ship and engaged 12 Vorthan raiders. Kethavar's eyes fixed on the Vorthan commander. Your people respect strength above all else. Nora gave them strength to admire. The hologram showed the aftermath of the battle, a lone human vessel surrounded by the wreckage of enemy ships. But what made the Vorthan delegates shift uneasily was the next image. Nora pulling Vorthan survivors from the debris, tending their wounds with her own medical supplies. She could have let them die, Kethavar said quietly. They were enemies. Instead, she saved their lives and asked nothing in return. Within days, 3 Vorthan battle groups had requested transfer to human-protected space. The Lumari delegates' form brightened skeptically. Isolated incidents. Surely this cannot explain. The Kepler Accords, Kethavar interrupted. A trade agreement that should have taken years to negotiate. Alexander and Nora accomplished it in 6 weeks. Not through threats or bribes, but by listening. They heard what each species truly needed and found ways to provide it. The Zephyrians needed food security. The Vorthans needed purpose beyond endless warfare. The Lumari needed stable energy sources for their transcendence rituals. The hologram now showed scenes from across the galaxy. Human ships delivering supplies to struggling colonies, human engineers working alongside alien scientists, human children playing with alien younglings in integrated communities. They gave each species what they needed most, Kethavar continued. And in return, those species gave humans something our ancient empires could never earn. Loyalty born of gratitude rather than fear. A young delegate from the Centauri Collective stood up. But surely their military must be formidable to maintain such rapid expansion. Kethvar's laugh was harsh. That's what makes them truly terrifying. Their military doctrine isn't based on superior firepower or advanced shields. It's based on the principle that their soldiers will die for people who aren't even their own species. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. The concept was alien to most galactic civilizations, where loyalty rarely extended beyond one's own kind. During the siege of Proxima, when the automated defense systems failed, it was a human marine named Jackson who stayed behind to manually activate the evacuation protocols. He saved 40,000 Altarian civilians and died doing it. The Altarians have named their children after him ever since. The hologram showed memorial statues erected across a dozen worlds, not to human conquerors, but to human heroes who had died protecting alien lives. "We warned you," Kethvar said, his voice heavy with the weight of prophecy fulfilled. "We told you that humans were different. We said they would not conquer through strength or cunning, but through something far more powerful. We said they would make the galaxy love them." Commander Zik stood slowly, his scaled hands clenched. "What do you propose we do?" "They've committed no crimes, broken no laws." "That is precisely the problem," Kethvar replied. "They have followed every protocol, respected every treaty, and yet they have gained more influence in 3 years than some empires acquire in millennia. Alexander and Nora are just 2 examples. There are thousands like them, scattered across human space, making friends, solving problems, and earning loyalty one act of kindness at a time." The Elder's ancient eyes swept across the assembly one final time. "The question now is not how to stop them. It is whether we will join them before our own people abandon us for the warmth of human friendship." As if summoned by his words, the chamber doors opened and a human delegation entered. Alexander Chen and Nora Martinez walked at their head, their faces open and friendly, ready to discuss trade agreements, mutual defense pacts, and cultural exchanges. The Galactic Council watched in fascination and horror as one by one, the delegates rose to greet them with genuine smiles. The revolution had already begun.